Welcome to another deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're going to try to connect some really big ideas
Okay.
from that whole I think therefore I am thing
Right.
to the Big Bang and evolution
Right.
and even morality.
All in one episode.
All in one. And it's all coming from this one document called A Coherent Worldview.
Right.
It goes from cogito
Okay.
to universal morality.
Interesting.
So that's kind of the through line. But
Yeah.
the big question is,
Yeah.
is it even possible to have morality? Like a real morality that's based on science and not religion?
Yeah, that's a big question.
So let's dive in.
All right.
So we always got to start with Descartes,
So, of course.
that I think, therefore I am.
Right. Cogito ergo sum?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Now you're probably thinking,
I've heard this one before.
yeah, haven't we all heard this before?
Right.
But stick with me here.
Okay.
Because this document takes this idea and uses it to springboard into this concept of distinction.
Distinction.
Yeah, so it's like that separation between the thinker and the thought, or like the observer and the observed.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Makes sense.
So what do you think about that?
Well, the source is pointing out that this distinction thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's fundamental to how we see reality.
Okay.
We look around us and we see just a ton of separate objects and events.
Yeah, like a bunch of separate stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I thought was really interesting.
Okay.
This idea of distinction,
Mm-hmm.
implies that there's also the opposite,
Okay.
which the document calls
What's it called?
anti-distinction.
Anti-distinction.
Yeah.
So the opposite.
Yeah, so it's instead of looking at all the separate parts,
Uh-huh.
it's more the idea of a unified whole
A unified whole.
that connects everything.
Okay, so it's we're focusing on the trees instead of the whole forest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
Imagine you're looking at a tapestry.
Okay, a tapestry.
You see all these different threads,
Yeah.
all the different colors and the textures and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but they all come together to form this one big picture.
Right.
So our everyday perception is kind of just focusing on the individual threads.
Okay, the distinctions.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But anti-distinction is stepping back
Uh-huh.
and seeing the whole tapestry.
Wow. Okay, so that's a really cool analogy.
I think.
But is this unified reality a real thing, or is it just a concept? You know what I mean?
Well, that's where things get really interesting,
Okay.
because the source connects this idea of anti-distinction to something called the size scale.
The size scale.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's this vast spectrum of sizes,
Okay.
from the tiniest subatomic particles
Okay.
to the largest structures in the universe,
Uh-huh.
and they're all connected and influencing each other.
Whoa. So it's
It's mind-blowing.
like those Russian nesting dolls.
Yes, exactly like that.
So on a cosmic scale? Okay. And so it just keeps going forever.
Right.
Infinitely.
The mind-blowing part is that it doesn't end.
Whoa.
The source says that our brains,
Mm.
which are stuck in this distinction mode,
Yeah.
they really struggle to grasp this concept of infinity.
Right. Infinity is a tough one.
It is.
Yeah.
But what if this infinite size scale
Uh-huh.
is actually the fundamental nature of reality?
Whoa.
It completely changes how we think about our place in the universe.
Yeah, that would be huge.
Right.
Totally changes everything.
It really does.
So earlier you mentioned that Epion thing.
Oh, yeah. Einstein's famous equation.
Yeah, and I feel like that's got to tie into all of this somehow.
Oh, it definitely does.
Okay, how so?
It's not just an equation.
Okay,
It's a statement about how reality actually works.
okay.
Epion tells us that energy and mass,
Yeah,
they're interchangeable.
okay.
Two sides of the same coin.
So it's all connected.
Yes. And that connection isn't just between energy and mass.
Okay.
It goes even deeper.
Deeper.
Yeah, it extends to space-time itself.
Space-time.
It's this fabric that weaves everything together.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
It's big.
So basically everything is connected
Everything.
from galaxies billions of light years away
Yeah.
to the cells in our bodies.
It's all part of the same unified reality.
Whoa, so the universe is whispering to us,
Yeah.
saying, hey,
Yeah.
it's all connected.
Uh-huh.
You're part of something much bigger than you can imagine.
Exactly.
Okay, I love that.
And the source takes it even further,
And even further.
by bringing it back to distinction and anti-distinction. Just energy and mass are inseparable.
Yeah.
Those two seemingly opposite concepts,
Mm-hmm.
distinction and anti-distinction,
Yeah.
they're also fundamentally intertwined.
Okay.
They make up the very fabric of existence.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
There's a lot to take in.
It is.
Yeah.
But now I have even more questions.
Like-
If everything is connected, where did it all begin? That's right. It's a Big Bang.
Right.
Yeah, most likely.
But this document,
Yeah.
it describes it as a summoning from nothingness.
That's interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Which honestly sounds kind of mystical to me.
It's definitely a profound mystery.
It is.
The source says that nothingness itself must have, like, the potential for the laws of physics.
Okay.
Like EMC.
Right.
To even exist at all.
So nothingness has the potential for everything.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
And it also suggests that maybe the universe is cyclical.
Cyclical.
Yeah, so it like expands from this unimaginable density.
Okay.
Eventually collapses back into nothingness and then gets summoned again.
So like another Big Bang.
Another Big Bang, exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's not a one-time event.
Okay.
But like a cosmic dance.
A cosmic dance.
Yeah, an endless cycle of creation and destruction.
Wow. Okay, so energy is just transforming from one state to another?
Absolutely.
Constantly in motion.
It really does make you feel pretty small.
It does.
You know, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, you realize how vast and ancient the universe really is.
Yeah, definitely puts things in perspective. So we've explored, like, the vastness of the universe, the interconnectedness of everything.
Yes.
But how does this all connect to us?
Right.
To life itself?
That's where evolution comes in.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Okay, so the document,
Yeah.
it lays out 4 pretty simple rules that have shaped, like, all the incredible diversity of life. Things like life and death.
Okay.
Offspring numbers, genetic mutation.
Right.
And this idea of power in, like, hijacking
Interesting.
reproductive mechanisms.
Okay.
It honestly seems so simple.
It does, right.
Yeah.
But from those simple rules comes like all the complexity
Wow.
of life as we know it.
Yeah, so from those single-celled organisms
Yeah.
all the way to, like, human consciousness.
It all traces back to these basic principles.
That is amazing.
It really is.
To think that our existence with all its beauty and chaos can be traced back to these, like, basic rules.
Yeah, playing out over billions of years.
It's like a cosmic game.
It is kind of like a game.
With simple rules.
Right.
But, like, infinitely complex outcomes.
Nah, I like that.
But how does all of this have to do with morality?
That's a great question.
That's where things start to get really interesting.
Yeah, and maybe a little controversial.
Right?
But that's what we're going to explore next.
Okay, I'm ready.
How does this understanding of the universe, from the tiniest particles to this grand cosmic dance, inform our understanding of right and wrong?
Yeah, like, can science really be the basis for morality?
Stay tuned.
Can't wait to find out. All right, so we went from I think, therefore I am, to the size scale.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
And even talked about the universe being cyclical.
On cosmic dance.
Yeah, cosmic dance.
Yeah.
But how does all this connect to morality? That's where I'm getting a little lost. Like, can science really tell us
what's right and wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a question that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, like forever.
But what if our scientific understanding of the universe could actually, like, provide a new basis for ethics?
Okay.
Not to, like, replace what we already have.
Okay.
But to offer, like, a deeper perspective.
A deeper perspective.
Yeah, maybe even the universal one.
Okay. I'm intrigued, but I'm also a little skeptical.
Okay. I get that.
I mean, science is great for explaining how things work, but morality just seems so subjective.
Yeah.
You know, like it's tied to human values.
Right.
And beliefs.
Yeah, so how do we bridge that gap?
Yeah, how do we bridge that gap?
Well, the source says that by understanding our place in this vast interconnected size scale, a natural sense of empathy kind of emerges.
Empathy.
Yeah, like when we really get that we're not just isolated beings, but part of this huge web of life.
Okay.
The well-being of others becomes like inseparable from our own.
So it's like that saying, we're all connected,
exactly,
but on a cosmic scale. So like harming others ultimately harms ourselves.
Right, because we're all part of this unified whole.
Okay, I can see that.
And this isn't just like a fluffy feel-good idea.
Okay.
There's actually a lot of scientific evidence.
Oh, really?
Showing how interconnected living systems really are.
Like what kind of evidence?
Well, you can look at the intricate relationships within ecosystems.
Okay.
Or the impact of human actions on the planet.
Right, like climate change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Science is showing us just how deeply our fates are intertwined.
Okay, so there's real science behind this.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here.
Good.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Okay, I like it.
Humans have a pretty long history of conflict.
Oh, yeah, we're good at that.
And violence.
Sadly.
Even when people share, like, the same beliefs.
It's true.
So how would this universal morality actually change that? Wouldn't there still be disagreements?
Probably.
And power struggles.
Yeah, human behavior is complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
This worldview isn't offering like a magical solution.
Right.
Or utopia.
No quick fixes.
No. But it gives us a new way to look at our actions.
Okay. A new lens.
Yeah, and our motivations.
Okay.
When we understand that we're all part of this grand experiment called life, driven by the same fundamental forces, maybe we can start to see our commonalities.
Yeah, instead of focusing on the differences.
Exactly.
Okay, so instead of clinging to these divisive ideologies.
Right, whether they're religious or political.
Right.
Maybe we could find common ground.
Common ground.
In our shared understanding of the universe.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and our place within it.
It's a pretty compelling idea.
It is.
But I keep coming back to this power thing.
Right, that the source talked about with evolution.
Yeah, like if this universal morality is about recognizing our interconnectedness, how does that work with the reality of power dynamics?
That's a really important point.
Yeah, because power is everywhere.
It is in nature and in our societies.
Exactly.
And the source acknowledges that.
Okay.
It doesn't shy away from the reality of power.
So it's not about pretending power doesn't exist?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's about understanding how it works and finding ways to use it responsibly.
Okay, so knowledge is power.
Exactly.
The more we understand, the better choices we can make.
Right, and that ties back to knowledge being a key part of this science-based morality.
Yeah.
The more we know about the universe, about ourselves, and about how everything is connected, the more likely we are to make choices that benefit everyone.
So it's not enough to just have good intentions.
Right.
We need to actually know what we're doing.
Exactly.
Like with climate change.
Yeah. Perfect example.
We can't just wish it away.
We need to understand the science, the economics, the social factors.
It's complex.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's where education is so important.
Education.
Yeah. The source really emphasizes that.
Okay.
We need education systems that encourage critical thinking.
Right, not just memorizing facts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And exploration of different perspectives.
Like being open to different ideas.
Yes.
Okay.
And teaching about our interconnectedness.
Yeah.
Not just as some nice idea,
right,
but as a scientific reality.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
If we want a future based on this universal morality, we have to give the next generation the tools to understand it.
Yeah, to make it real.
Right, and to apply it in their lives.
But it's not just about kids in school.
No.
Right, definitely not.
What about those of us who are already out in the world dealing with all these ethical challenges?
It's an ongoing process for all of us.
Yeah, like we're always learning.
Exactly.
So what can we do?
Well, the source suggests something called conscious evolution.
Conscious evolution.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? It means being aware of our choices.
Okay.
And how they impact others and the world around us.
Okay.
It means being open to new information.
Yeah.
And challenging our own assumptions.
So like questioning what we think we know.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it means looking for opportunities to connect with others.
To connect.
Yeah, to build understanding and cooperation.
So it's about taking responsibility for our own growth.
Both individually and collectively.
Yeah, like making conscious choices that line up with this idea of interconnectedness.
Exactly.
But we don't have to be perfect, right?
Not at all.
Like we're all going to make mistakes.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's about being willing to learn, to adapt, and to work together to create a better world.
Okay. I'm seeing how this universal morality could really be a powerful force for change.
It could.
But is it really feasible? We're talking about like a fundamental shift.
Yeah, in how we see ourselves and the world.
Like, can that actually happen on a large scale?
It's a huge challenge.
It is.
But the source is optimistic.
Okay.
It compares it to the evolution of life itself.
Okay, back to evolution.
Yeah, it argues that just like life has moved towards greater complexity and interconnectedness.
Yeah.
So too can human societies evolve
towards a more unified and ethical worldview.
Exactly.
So it's not about some sudden transformation.
No, it's a gradual process.
Well, a gradual awakening.
Yeah, to this deeper understanding.
Of our place in the universe.
A shift in consciousness.
It changes everything.
That ripples outwards.
Yeah, influencing our choices.
And our actions.
Okay, so this process is already happening.
It is.
Around the world, people are questioning things.
Yes, challenging the status quo.
Embracing different perspectives. And looking for solutions that benefit everyone.
And the planet.
It's a slow process.
It is.
and often messy.
It's definitely.
But it's happening.
It is.
That's actually really hopeful.
It is.
But how do we speed things up?
That's the big question.
Yeah. Like, how do we move beyond the theory
right.
and actually put this universal morality into practice?
That's what we'll explore in the last part of our deep dive.
Okay, can't wait.
We're going to get into the practical implications of all of this.
Okay.
And consider how each of us can help build a more ethical and sustainable future.
Sounds good. Okay, so we've spent all this time talking about this universal morality based on science.
Right. This idea that...
Yeah, like understanding our place in the cosmos could lead to a more ethical world.
A more connected world.
But how do we actually get there?
Yeah, that's the big question.
It all seems kind of idealistic, you know?
It's definitely challenging.
Especially with everything going on in the world right now. Right. Like, it's hard to imagine everyone coming together.
Yeah, the source doesn't pretend it's easy.
No, definitely not.
Remember how we talked about evolution?
Yeah, like the evolution of life.
Right. The source says that humanity's journey towards a more unified and ethical worldview is also an evolutionary process.
So it's not going to happen overnight.
It's not a revolution.
More like a gradual shift.
It's a gradual evolution.
Our thinking.
Of our behavior.
Okay, so it's like those first single-celled organisms.
Right.
They probably couldn't have imagined evolving into us.
They had no idea.
It took billions of years.
Billions of years of change.
So maybe this shift in human consciousness, it'll take generations.
It's a long-term perspective.
It is, but I guess if we're talking about a universal morality, a truly ethical future for everyone,
it's not going to happen quickly.
No, it's a long game.
It is.
But how do we even start?
Right. What are the first steps?
Like, how do we nudge things in the right direction?
Well, the source emphasizes knowledge, understanding.
Okay.
The more we learn about the universe, about ourselves, about how everything is connected, the better choices we'll make.
So it's not enough to just want to do good.
Right. Good intentions aren't enough.
You have to know what we're doing. Like with climate change.
Yeah, good example.
We can't just hope it goes away.
We have to understand the science.
The economics.
The social factors.
Yeah, it's complex.
It's incredibly complex.
And that's where education comes in.
Education is key.
Yeah, the source talks a lot about that.
We need to teach critical thinking.
Right. Not just memorizing facts.
Exactly.
We need to encourage people to explore different perspectives.
To be open to new ideas.
And to understand that our interconnectedness, it's not just some nice idea.
It's a scientific reality.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
It's about equipping the next generation.
With the tools to understand.
And to actually apply this universal morality.
But it's not just about kids in school, right?
Definitely not.
Like, what about the rest of us?
It's a lifelong process.
Yeah, we're all constantly learning and evolving.
Exactly. So what can we do?
Yeah, what can we do right now?
The source suggests something called conscious evolution.
Conscious evolution? What's that?
It means being aware of the choices we make.
Like thinking about the consequences.
Understanding how our choices impact others. And the world around us.
So it's about being mindful.
It's about being open to new information.
Challenging our own assumptions.
Yeah, questioning what we think we know.
And looking for ways to connect with other people.
To build bridges of understanding.
Cooperation.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to take responsibility for our own growth.
Yes.
Both individually
and collectively.
We have to make choices that align with this idea
of interconnectedness.
But we don't have to be perfect.
No one is perfect.
We're all going to make mistakes.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, so it's about being willing to learn.
To adapt.
And to work together to build a better world.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how this universal morality, it's not just some abstract concept.
It's a way of life.
It's a framework for thinking.
It's a way of approaching life with awareness.
And compassion.
Seeing the bigger picture.
Recognizing our interconnectedness.
And using that knowledge to guide our actions.
That's beautiful.
And remember, even small actions can make a difference.
Small actions can have a big impact.
When we make choices that reflect this understanding, we inspire others to do the same.
It's like a ripple effect.
It's a positive feedback loop.
That can change the world.
It can change the course of human evolution.
So it's not about waiting for someone else to fix things.
Right.
It's about each of us taking responsibility.
For our own little corner of the world.
Planting seeds of empathy.
Understanding.
Cooperation.
Wherever we can.
Well, this has been quite a journey.
It has.
We went from I think, therefore I am.
To the Big Bang.
To the evolution of life.
And now to this vision of a future.
Shaped by a science-based morality.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, but I hope you're feeling inspired.
You too.
Empowered to make a difference.
Even small changes can have a big impact.
Remember, the journey continues.
It does.
Keep learning.
Keep
and keep looking for those connections
that bind us all together
in this incredible adventure we call life.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
We'll see you next time.